Welcome to Talking Reds. We're in Avenue HQ, Neil Atkinson, Craig Hannan, and you've got news. There was breaking news. You got really excited, actually. You got so excited in the office.
Do you know what? I got excited because I was finding it difficult for things to put in my agenda. Like, I've slated Gareth's agendas before, but mine's piss poor here, to be honest. But Champions League, the Champions League have pulled through for us. Yeah, happy days. So there's been some changes to the 2019 Champions League. A fourth substitute has been permitted in the knockout stages.
James Milner.
James Milner, yeah.
James Milner's got fourth sub in a Champions League extra written all over him. By the way, it's next season, it's not this season, so you can't just lash him on against.
Yeah, it's only the knockout stages as well. First of all, that's a mad thing. I love whenever they make these changes, because it feels like, is football not all right the way it is at the moment?
I just love the idea. There's some fellas sitting around going, right, let's really soup things up here. We've got to just justify a wage, maybe. We're in a committee. Let's see what we can do. But I'm excited by it. What I always love as well with a good rule change is it can create chaos.
Yeah.
Do you remember basically that season when Virgil van Dijk just stood offside all year and scored loads of goals, and all of them counted.
Yeah, because nobody knew what was going on except Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, Virgil van Dijk was like, I'm according to the rules here. Don't you worry at all. So a fourth sub, anything could happen. 23 players rather than the usual 18 will be permitted in the match day squad. So that means that you've got more subs to pick from. You can have basically all the lads can be on that bench.
That one's for Danny Ings, isn't it? Probably.
That's a Danny Ings. It's also, but it would actually, for instance, it could be good for Ryan Brewster. So you're away at Maribor and you've had to pick a 23-man squad and you go 4-0 up. And the manager's able to turn around and think, you know what, let's give him 20 minutes. That could be nice. Yeah. If you do get 4-0 up at Maribor, most sides don't do that. It just takes the mighty boys in red to do it.
The mad one's the kick-off time.
This is insane.
5 to 6. There's going to be 2 games every Tuesday and Wednesday, starting at 5 to 6. I remember the Augsburg game in the Europa League a couple of seasons ago, and I wasn't actually meant to be going to it. I met Neil Dawgan outside work, who was rushing from work to go to the game, and he had a ticket, so we both went. And it was really, really strange, just walking straight out of work, rushing to get to the game and be there for 5 to 6. Then it's done. Then you've got a game afterwards.
The traffic was a nightmare.
Oh, it was
horrendous. We work right slap bang in the middle of Liverpool city centre. We've got the Strand just behind us there. I'm pointing at it like you can see it, you can't. But like the idea of getting from Liverpool city centre right the way through to the ground, it was terrible for that Augsburg game. And this is a really good example of this little reminder. I think we've always been lucky in this country with the kick-off time for Champions League games. It's 8:45, but that means that if you're in European time, it's an hour ahead. It's 9:45, and I trust me, if we started to kick games off at 9:45 in this country, there'd be howls of derision that it's far too late. But that's what happens on the continent. Exactly. Rob Gutman's in bed by 9:45 most nights. So you're in this situation where all of a sudden, this is now flipped and it's now working against us. So we still get the 8 o'clock kick-off time. They've moved that one. That's still 8 o'clock, and that still feels like it's fair enough. But 5 to 6, so it's 5 to 7 on the continent. 5 to 7 feels very, very achievable. 5 to 7 is actually quite exciting. You maybe get an early dart, 3 pints, get there, let the traffic die down, post-rush hour. This, good Lord, ladies and gentlemen, good Lord. Imagine lots and lots and lots of Anfield app complaints about this. This is one of those things that's going to inconvenience us, and so therefore you're going to hear a lot about it in exactly the same way that whenever anything in any way, shape or form minorly inconveniences the London media, they go absolutely mental about it for weeks. You're going to be hearing a lot about us stuck in traffic jams and on rammed buses trying to get to the game.
The only good thing is doing the post-match show. You get the post-match show done by
that's a great
half
point.
8, and then you've got your night out. You've got the whole night out ahead of you.
That's a great point. Post-match show, piece written.
Swings and roundabouts, then.
Swings and indeed roundabouts. And also, if you've won the Europa League now, you can put a badge on your sleeve that you've won it loads. It's called the Sevilla badge. Because you know how it works. Sevilla enter the Europa League, they win it, and then we just all go from there. Other things, Emre Can's not talking to the press anymore. I've just returned from international duty with the German team, working on coming back from injury. Interesting stories about me in the press. I'm no longer going to comment on any false stories or rumours. Looking forward to getting back on the pitch. So that's Emre Can for you.
Nice one, Emre. Yeah, no, I think there was loads of talk around in the press around him. Well, first of all, some of the things he'd said, that he feels as if he's got the confidence to play for a big club, but I don't think he said anything too scathing of Liverpool. I think he was actually quite nice when he was talking about Liverpool. It was just the fact that they'd taken his quotes, and well, that was the only quote they'd taken because that was the one of interest. I think there was talk as well about wanting 200k. Like, who knows? Where have they plucked that from? it's interesting to see. Maybe just sign a contract and decide you're staying here, Emre, and it all might stop.
Could be the case if you want to do that.
I've just boxed it there on Talking Reds for you, man.
Sort it out. For Talking Reds, it's lifestyle advice, it's traffic news, everything you need. Van Dijk scored for Holland, which is great. It'd be great if he scored for Liverpool soon. I'm my only mild Van Dijk annoyance. It comes up on Wildcards, which is coming out later today. In general, I think, what I quite liked about Van Dijk is the way he's recovered from actually making mistakes, because he's made a few. But we just go, it doesn't matter, we'll just move on. And that's the right attitude. My other Van Dijk annoyance, though, is I was convinced he was getting like 10 a season. You know what I mean? He scores that one against Everton on his debut, and I was like, Van Dijk is going to score a goal a game. He's going to be the new John Aldridge.
I think, though, first of all, I think that goal has just bought him so much time with me that, he could never score again, and I'd still be talking about that one time that he scored against Everton. I think the one thing is you see the difference in terms of when we get a corner. I actually believe, we've got a corner, I'm quite happy about it now, instead of in the past it was like, we've got a corner, nothing's going to happen of this ever.
Nothing will come of this incident, but then occasionally something does. And Guillaume says that Salah is not the Galactico Real Madrid want this season, which feels vaguely like these are not the droids you are looking for. Great news if so, but even if they are, if he is the Galactico that they want, well, they're going to have to wait. He's going to be a Liverpool player for a while, we're not messing about. Got a league to win, so we're going to crack on with that, really. Should we do the papers? There's loads in the papers.
Yeah.
It is the papers. First and foremost, I just want to draw your attention to two things on this page. One is this West Brom story we're going to talk about in a minute. The next one is just look at Gareth Bale and imagine him playing for Liverpool. Look how magnificent he looks. Let's sort this out. The campaign starts here. I mentioned it on yesterday's free show. Let's get Gareth Bale to Anfield. He'd love it. He'd have a great time. Imagine him playing for Jurgen Klopp, enjoying himself. Might have to take a pay cut, but why wouldn't you, Gareth? You get to play in red all the time. Think about it, Gareth. Come with us. Good in the air. Great on the deck. Plays left and right hand through the middle. Available in the summer. I'll keep you posted. There's also here West Brom have no more money for wages. We talked a lot to Dan Hewitt on our stuff about West Brom, and this bolsters a couple of things that he said. But the one that got us was the idea that Jonny Evans can leave the club, £3 million in the summer.
It's amazing news, both for me and for anyone involved in the Anfield Wrap, because what we're going to have to do is we're going to put in a budget request form to John Gibbons for Jonny Evans. We're just going to buy him. He's going to be in the office, might do a few keep up. He's
might need to get a bank loan.
Could be my assistant, could look after me when Robbo takes the piss out of my accent, because he's got a similar accent.
We're getting Jonny Evans in.
Yeah, exactly.
£3 million, Jonny Evans, just knocking around the gaff.
Just sell him in January and you'll make more money in January as well.
We think we can get him in.
It's an investment.
Get him doing some stuff for us, maybe being part of a five-a-side team, moving forward, and then just keep him fit, keep him ticking over, shift him on in January for 4 or 5 times the money. We're going to look into this and we're going to get back to you, but if you could subscribe, your £5 a month will be going towards signing Jonny Evans, and I want you to have a good think about that, as to what he could bring to the entire operation. Makes a fantastic cup of tea.
If Jonny Evans you don't hear about Jonny Evans after this summer and you wonder where he's gone, he's in our office.
He's in our office.
He's my assistant, and then when he resurfaces in January for 9 million and the Anfield Wrap isn't here anymore because we've just made 6 million profit, you know where we'll be.
Yeah, it's like buying steel back when Liverpool were trying to build the stadium. Rather than buying young players, we should just have invested all of our money in steel.
Johnny, if you're watching,
futures.
Johnny, if you're watching, come talk to us.
Get in touch, Johnny. 3 million, we'll make it happen. £3 million just feels really plausible somehow. Stupidly so. There's a really serious story in the Echo, and it segues into something else that we're doing in a strange way, but it's really important. Where's it gone? Is it on the back page? Where's it gone? Come on. We can sort this out. It is here, yeah. James Pearce has written this piece about supporters missing out on City tickets, and if you haven't seen it, it's a hugely frustrating situation where there's 2 factors. The first one is UEFA's allocation, where they're able to take a certain number, and the maximum amount they can take is 2,500, and they haven't been taking that throughout the season. And then the other thing in there as well is the priority rights holders. When the shareholding was bought by Hicks and Gillette in 2007, a number of 1,500 people retained residual rights to be able to get tickets, entitled to buy tickets to any home match, and that obviously hasn't been getting taken up through what was a pretty mundane group stage, and then a 0-0 with Porto where we were 5-0 up from the first leg. So UEFA haven't been taking their allocation and these priority rights holders haven't, and what's happened is that the club have understandably sold those tickets on because we want to get people in the ground and we want Liverpool supporters in the ground. But now what happens is that there's now a huge number of people who will not be able to get tickets who've gone to all the previous games, and that's just desperately sad. And it is it's a strange situation in that often when we do this sort of stuff, there'd be me sort of going on, the club should sort this out, or the club should sort this out. The thing with this is, so we either want them to sell those tickets in the first place or we don't want them to. Do you know what I mean, Craig?
Yeah.
Like, what are they meant to? So they either can leave those tickets, because this could happen at a later date, they can either say, well, we just want to sell the ground out, but then people can't go and see Liverpool. And we always say, well, there's an access issue, we want more people to see Liverpool. It's a really difficult circle to square, and I just feel as though they've been slightly shafted by circumstance.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be really strange if there was 1,000, 2,000 empty seats sat just off the back of these people then getting tickets later in the later rounds.
Yeah.
It is sad because there'll have been people who maybe aren't on the cup scheme who will have bought their ticket for the first game, their second game, third game, and then for Porto, on an ad hoc basis.
And Hoffenheim, actually there's Hoffenheim as well.
Yeah, of course. And then it's got to the City game, fully expecting, excited for it,
got the loyalty,
excited for the draw. Exactly, they've got all the points, and they lose out. It is really sad.
It is. So, as I say, it's just not a clean situation, really. And what I would say, and I think it's important, is that if you're not able to go, just make sure you're getting your ticket to somebody, because the ground should be full. So, let's sort of get the ground full, to be honest with you. We've got a competition giving 2 tickets away, which we'll come on to in a minute or two. Before then, we've also got Chan's fighting to be fit for Palace. And Gomez will be out, so that's sorted out. We know that's the case. What do you reckon to Nathaniel Klein?
I don't know. I know he's played a few under 23 games, hasn't he? I just don't see how he would be fit enough just to be thrown in. Would you give him a go at Palace? I think my only worry is, do you give him a go at Palace with a view of him being able to then play one of the City games, maybe Everton, or are you giving Trent every single one of those games? That's my worry, is giving Trent, two games against City and then Everton in the middle of that. He's a young lad. He's still learning. He's had a brilliant season, but it feels like a bit of a risk playing him in those 3 games, I think, and with the Palace game coming up as well. It'd just be interesting to see with Nathaniel Klein, because it feels like it's
he's in the echo here. He's in the echo here, going in for a challenge with James Milner. I'll show you the other side of that look, and you can piece it together in your own imaginations. So yeah, he's in. He
feels like a bit of a bonus that he's back this season, because I remember seeing him at Tranmere in the pre-season. That was the last time he played for Liverpool, and then this mystery injury was out, and then it was prolonged, and he was out longer than we expected him to be, and then just suddenly he was back and he was in the Champions League squad. I think that the fact that we're even talking about him in the conversation is a positive, because I thought he was really good last season, and he's just a 7 out of 10 defender that you can rely on.
Maybe you throw him in for Palace and give him 60 and see how he gets on, and maybe that's the answer, and then you're able to make a decision from there with reference to the other games. But we don't know at this stage. It does feel a bit of a risk, but at some point players have got to make a comeback. The other thing I would say is, often players, when they come back from an injury, they have a good first game and then they go off the boil a little bit. So it might be that we just sort of take advantage of the adrenaline for the first game against Palace, and then reassess and go from there with them. So that's all of that. And the papers in general, there's something about Doucouré in the Echo as well. The Echo's good today. So if you're around to buy it or look at it online, feel
loads about cricket, isn't there? It's
loads about cricket. I love cricket. Nothing will make me happier than a 5-day test match.
Absolutely.
I might take you to a 5-day test match.
No.
All 5 days.
I would only go if it was sunny.
You, me, Jonny Evans. What a day.
I'm into it.
What a
I'm
day.
up for it.
I thought you would be off the back of that. Listen, we've got a fantastic show coming out today about Naby Keita, where we've spoken to 5 different people. We've spoken to a Leipzig supporter. We've spoken to a guy who writes for the Bundesliga England. We've spoken to Chris Williams. We've spoken to Mel Reddy, who's interviewed him. Spoke to Rafa Honigstein. The other 2 names, by the way, one of them, the supporter's called Matthias, and the guy from Bundesliga England is called Alex. I can't remember people's names. We've also got a show on Andy Robertson, which John's done, talking to Rory Smith about the concept of Andy Robertson as much as the footballer. It's really, really good indeed. And Wildcards is out today as well. So that's 3 really good tour player shows. If you're not subscribing, £5 a month, got all the build up towards this fantastic Manchester City week. And we've got 2 tickets to give away via our friends at Redsbet. They're partnering with the Anfield Wrap across the course of the year, and they have these season tickets at Anfield, and they've offered them to us to give away to somebody to win them. Go onto our website, and where do people find it on the website?
Just be on the homepage. You'll find it on our Twitter as well. well. We'll be retweeting it through the day. All you have to do is fill in your details, answer the question, and then follow Redsbet on Twitter. We'll announce a winner. We'll draw the winner next Tuesday when it finishes. It finishes at noon on Tuesday. We'll draw the winner by the end of the day, and then you'll have to be able to collect the tickets on Wednesday morning.
Indeed, and just another thing very quickly on that as well. Also with Redsbet, they're pushing their fantasy league stuff where they do one weekend hits. This weekend it is when we're at Crystal Palace. There's that weekend fixtures, and they've got a £25,000 prize pot to give away. The first 3,000 entries are free. So if you are interested in that, you can set up with them. So you go to redsbet.com for that, and you can go from there with them around all of that stuff. As ever, the idea of gambling responsibly is a thing, so be gambleaware.org for all of that sort of stuff. But also enjoy all of these things and do enter the competition. If you haven't got a ticket for City, you know, we want it to go to a really, really good home. So get yourself in there, get yourself entered, and we'll go from there. So anything else?
No.
Do you feel like we've done it?
I feel like we've done it, yeah.
I feel like we've done it.
All I'm thinking about is Jonny Evans signing for the Anfield Wrap. That's all I'm thinking about here.
What we'll do is when we get him, we'll get him like on a proper contract thing like that with a pen. You know what I mean? And we'll both sit next to each other and we'll get Jonny and we'll sign it. And then you'll never see him again for 3 months until January. Bye-bye.